welcome to M1 Yarns and the Michigan Makers Podcast. I am Jamie, also known as M1 Yarns on everywhere on social media, Ravelry, and m1yarns.com. I'm flying solo today without my co-host Danielle because we have a very special guest filling in today for a little interview. So without further ado, let's jump right into this interview. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Gwen. I'm from By Gwens Design.
Gwen is an experienced maker. You knit, you crochet, you have... you're going to have to tell us everything because, I mean, I've known you for years now, and you have stories for decades. I mean,
Decades.
I admire so much of what you do, and so I really want the world to know your fiber story and know about you because I admire you as a person.
Thank you.
You're honestly one of my favorite people to follow. You're always uplifting, and so I'm so thrilled that my first guest on the podcast today is Gwen. So take us back to the beginning.
Wow. Okay.
I think that's a good place to start.
It's always a good place. The beginning is always a good place to start.
Yes.
Many, many moons ago, before the earth was formed. No, we're not going back that far.
Nice try.
Right, we're not going to go that far back. I haven't been knitting that long.
No.
I learned to knit and crochet one day apart. I had a aunt, and her and my mother were talking one day after church, and I was just sitting there in grown folks' business, and we don't do that where I'm from. We don't.
Right.
So my aunt was like, "You need something to do," because really I wasn't reading the book that I was looking at. I was listening to the
And they kind of picked up on that.
Yeah, they kind of got it. They realized that I was doing wrong. So she came the next day, and she bought a knitting needle.
Okay.
And she said, "You're going to learn how to knit." I'm like, "Okay." So she showed me how to cast on, and then she ripped it out. Then she cast on, and then she ripped it out. And then she said, "Okay, do this." So I cast on, and I ripped it out, and I cast on, and I ripped it out. I did it. Then she taught me how to knit and purl.
Okay.
And I did it. And
now you were starting to groove.
Yeah. That was, and this was all in one day, literally. Nice. So when she came back the next week, I had made a scarf and a hat. No pattern. That's how I learned. No pattern.
And you kind of stuck to that.
I did. It is my thing. That's my thing. And then I want to say, the next day she came and she showed me how to crochet.
Okay.
She showed me how to make a chain, and then she showed me how to single crochet and double crochet. But I learned. I picked up on knitting a little bit more because I'm left-handed and she was right-handed, so we did the mirror, and I picked it up really quick. And from there, I just kind of went with it.
Yeah.
The first thing I made was a hat and a scarf. And then I told my mother, I said, "I want to make you a sweater." I was like, "Just give me one that you really like." So she gave me a sweater she really liked. And I made her sweater in a week.
And did you work off of that as like a template as far as sizing, length?
Yep. I didn't take it apart, but I measured it.
Yeah.
I measured how far down on the inside. Because my mother taught me how to sew. So I had...
Prior to...
Right.
Okay.
So I had the concept. And this was all at the age of 10.
I've heard that before, that sewing, which I know just enough to be kind of dangerous, that is a good way of initiating some garment making skills that come in handy in the fiber industry.
When I think about knitting or crocheting or weaving or Tunisian crochet or hairpin lace or broomstick lace or anything, it is literally coloring. You're taking a shape, a template, whatever it is, however you want, whatever it is you're making the look, and you fill it in like a coloring book. It's like a coloring book.
That's a really good point.
And you just have, and you can have negative space in it or positive, depending on what you decide to fill it in with.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned to knit and crochet.
Okay. And so you also have knitting machines, plural, right?
I have 6 right now.
Fascinating.
And I love them. I love them. Actually, this sweater was finished on a knitting machine. So I'll make a yoke and then I'll do the sleeves and I'll do the front and the back on the knitting machine. On my sewing machine, I sew the 2 seams and then I'll put my rib on. Yeah. By hand. And
so you knock out a project a little faster than most.
Yep. I can, like this that I'm playing with right now is going to be, this. It's just like this.
Okay.
So basically, I bought this with me so I could play while we were.
Sure.
But when I get home, I'll take the sleeve, put it on a machine, knock that out, do the other side of the sleeve, and then I'll do the body. I don't have to do it by hand. Yeah. I just like to manipulate both ways. Okay. So, I could literally make a sweater in 2 hours. Wow. A whole knitted sweater in 2 hours. And I have machines that do lace and, you know.
Aren't you jealous?
Everything. I have machines that can do pretty much everything, even ribbing. Okay. Pattern making, all that. So
fascinating.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a different medium. It's, if you can imagine it, it's like latch hook. Yeah. Because that's what knitting is. It's just crocheting or latch hook or whatever. It's all the same. Just manipulating string. Sure. So I love that part. But knitting machines are amazing.
So would you say that sweaters are your favorite thing to make now? Or has it gone in phases?
I've always liked making sweaters because you always need a top. Yeah. You know, you could have 2 pairs of jeans, but if you have 20 tops, you can change and you can always do that. I like making everything. Yeah. I don't have a specific thing. I just finished a crochet dress with, you know, string. Then I usually work with lace weight or fingering weight, whatever I make things out of. And I don't mind a thicker yarn, but I get a little hot now and then, so I had to change into things that are a little bit thinner. All right. So.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, what, I guess that explains well your past. What goals do you have for yourself for the future, fiber related?
Well, I've said it a million times, but I'm really working on it. I really am. I am going to write up some of my patterns.
That's exciting.
I am. And I have them actually written. I just have to, some of them have to be tech edited.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's not, oh, I'm going to write this pattern up and then a week later, no, they've been working on that pattern for months. Yeah. It's not a yesterday and then tomorrow thing.
Not if it's a decent pattern.
No. You know, but no, that's my ultimate goal is to share even more. Yeah. What I know how to do and to be able to explain to people that it's not rocket science. No. It's just
now you've taught hundreds of people.
Yeah, I've taught.
So you've spread the love.
Yeah, I've spread the love and don't mind, and I still do. I'll give pretty much away everything. If it's up to me, like people come to my house and they're like, oh, I want to make a sweater, but I want this color yarn and I want to do it out of this. I'd be like, oh, hold on a minute. I'm going to run downstairs and go and get that for you. And then I'll come back up and they're like, you're really going to give this to me?
Well, that raises a really good point because I remember not long after we met, you showed me a photo of your stash. And I had never seen a stash like that. That was the moment for me when yarn was elevated from like a casual hobby to a full-on lifestyle.
Oh, it's a lifestyle.
I was like, that. I don't think that was a thing then, but I was like, hashtag goals right here. You must have been looking at me like, close your jaw. I remember going home and just thinking about this stash, like, oh, this is something to aspire.
And my husband and my daughter, Tony, are enablers. I've had people send me yarn, family. They'll be somewhere and they're like, oh, I'm in this store and they have all this yarn and I'm going to buy this and send this to you. And they know I like better yarns, so they don't send me, just anything.
Just any old thing.
And they're like, oh, look, it has like $50 on it, but they're only $3 and I'm going to send you all of this. And I'm like, okay. Oh, I love it. Or I've had people gift me. Tony gives me. I love Tony. She gives me all the time. And I've had people, just say, Gwen, I know you love yarn. I've had people give me knitting machines, sewing machines. I've had people give me so many things. So that's why I have the heart to give, because people do for me.
Yeah.
So.
Because it's good karma kind of
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Or they'll say something like, I'm going to give you, this stash of yarn because I know that you'll find somebody to give it to. So that's another thing, and I just like giving. Giving is great. It makes me feel some sort of way. Not just to give my time or my talent or anything, but to be able to say, oh, okay, well, you want to make, I've had people say, well, I really can't afford, to spend $30 or $40 on one ball of yarn.
Right.
So I'll be like, okay, well, hold on a minute. And I'll go downstairs and like, what is it that you want to make? I want to make whatever. And I'll go downstairs. You want to make a blanket? Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. This might take a few more minutes. But I can get you that much yarn. I got it downstairs and I've done it. So it's really nice. And I like to do charity knitting too. So I've used a lot of things for stuff.
Nice.
It's fun.
Well, now you touched on your daughter, Tony, who I also met. I don't know if I met you first and then you came and I met Tony when she was visiting you.
That is exactly how it happened, because I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met you first,
But she obviously has been instilled with your love of fiber. She's made a bit of a career.
A little teeny bit.
Yeah. One day we'll have Tony on. Oh, gosh. If you don't know Tony, where have you been? Yeah. But wow, I mean, that's such an amazing thing to see your yarn legacy, your love just carry on. Now you have a granddaughter.
Oh yeah.
Do you have her stitching yet?
She's not stitching yet, but she loves yarn, and she's always like, Grandma Gwen, are you gonna make my sweater? Did you finish my whatever it is that she wants? Or I want a pink sweater. Did you make my sweater yet? I'm like, baby, I made your sweater. And she's like, okay. So she's wound yarn for me.
Okay.
She loves the knitting machine, and she made her own sweater on the knitting machine. I mean, of course I had to help. Yeah. But she was like, I can do it. And I was like, okay. So she literally made her sweater on the knitting machine. So I think that
the next generation.
Yeah. I think that she's going to be, into it, because she'll see me and she's like, you're going to show me how to do that? I'm like, sure.
That's cool.
So, and at 5, for her to ask is pretty amazing. So I think she'll be that next generation.
Catch that bug.
But I've taught a lot of young people how to knit and crochet. So that's really fun. Or I don't care what age a person is. If you teach them and they love it and they catch on, That's what's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
To me.
It's like, whether they say teach a man how to fish.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
It's some life skills.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And I've made a lot of money out of life. So.
Yeah. Touch on, now, you had just reminded me while we were chatting before starting to film that you used to make outfits for the church ladies.
My church ladies. I call them my church ladies. Yes. St. John suits, Chanel suits. You know, they would be like, I'm going to church on Sunday and I want something nobody else is going to have. And I'm like, oh, yes. And that was fun because they have their style.
Yeah.
You know, they're sassy ladies, you know. If they came to me, they already know Gwen's not going to just do,
and they want the ensemble. Right?
Yes, the whole thing. So
yeah.
you're not just you're making a skirt, you're making a duster, you're making a scarf or a poncho or something. They want fur on it. They want, you know, some leather. Can you sew this leather patch? Can you deconstruct this leather jacket and put it back together with some yarn in it? And
I love it.
Sure, I can. As long as you're paying, I'm working.
Right.
So yeah, but that was, you know, that was a fun time and very creative time to be able to work and create things. And I used to do shows long before the wonderful shows that they have now. Everybody in the family would be like, okay, I'm going to do a show. We got to go set up. And, you know, it was fun. It was just fun times. So, yep, I would say now all of those aspects, I'm retired from that.
Okay.
Now I'm retired.
You're doing for you.
I knit for family and I knit for fun. And like I said, I am going to get some of those patterns written up.
All right.
Share that part.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what things would you want to pass on to the next generation, or what thoughts or words or inspiration do you feel like is missing from, I don't know.
I would say just,
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No.
No.
It's not too much. I would say, I think, you know, with the whole climate of everything that we're going through right now, I would say learn to relax with it a little bit more. It's not rocket science. Create for yourself first. Make what you love. I mean, and I understand it if you're doing it for a job or a business. That's one thing. But if you're just at home and you're just knitting for your family or your friends or yourself, just love it and relax and let it go. It's therapeutic. It's restful.
Just go with the flow. Yeah. It's just yarn.
It's cool, man. Just go.
So nice having you here.
It's fun being here, especially with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Just to be able to
have a moment. We've been, we were in a sip and stitch group for several years where we would get together every month or so, like on a Saturday morning, coffee and knitting and whatnot. And I really missed that. I mean, it was something to look forward to.
It was.
I know we've been saying for ages we were going to get together and knit.
Right.
Shame on me.
Knitting machine. Well, you have a job. I'm retired, so I get to just lounge around. I don't expect people to, you know, be like, oh yeah, you have a business. You have to work. Business first. Yeah. You know, friend time after.
No, you know, life is short. You gotta, I mean, if this year has taught us nothing else.
Yes.
We have to make time for self-care and make time to foster relationships.
That is true.
Because I think we all have so much to learn from one another.
Yes. And
just spending time with people. I mean, obviously I think so many people are acting crazy, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
Because we're all isolated. We're all stressed.
I don't think we realize how much we actually need each other.
Yeah.
Until this has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could sit in your house by yourself for
Mm-hmm.
hours knitting or crocheting or
Yeah.
listening to a podcast or watching TV or whatever it is that you do. But when you have to do it,
yeah,
as opposed to wanting to do it,
mm-hmm.
that changes the whole tone of the
yeah,
situation. And, you know, it makes you think when you say how we need each other. The I did lose somebody to the virus, and that person who taught me how to knit actually is the person that I lost. My aunt, she passed away.
Sorry.
And so I think about, you know, every time I pick up a needle, I think about her. Every time I make a stitch, you know, I think about her, and I think about people and how much, you know, it shows the love just to be able to craft with somebody.
Truly. And I think so many makers are introverts or extroverts who really just value kind of that self-care time.
Mm-hmm.
But you hear so often of groups that come together and how, even if it's just once a week or once a month,
mm-hmm.
just to kind of get that, the encouragement.
Yep.
And you can't get the same thing on Instagram or in a group chat or whatnot.
No.
I know, you know, there'll be days I'm sitting at the computer cranking out this, that, the other, and I'll have music on, but it's like my thoughts are drowning. I need to hear other people's voices. Mm-hmm. And so I've been more intentionally, it used to be I'd watch like a knitting podcast on YouTube or whatnot, mm-hmm. When it was time to sit down on the couch and knit. Now I'm letting it play while I'm doing other things to feel that
connection.
Yeah, to feel like I have company.
Right, to feel connected, because being an only child, being an empty nester, being retired, I have to mindfully think about getting up, getting out, getting dressed, calling somebody, you know, going somewhere to do something different.
Yeah.
I have to physically and mentally think about it. It's not my everyday. Even working from home would be completely different, because if you're on Zoom or whatever it is, you have to physically get dressed. You're still interacting with people.
You might be in your pajama pants.
Right, but that top part, you know, you actually had to, you know, brush your teeth and wash your face. Not at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
So, you know, so those are things that I had to, you know, once I retired, I had to think about.
Yeah.
And I had to be more mindful. And sometimes, you know, my husband will come home and he's like, "What you do all day?" I'm like, "Oh, I was knitting all day, listening to my book all day." And I'm like, you can't do that all day.
Not all day, every day.
No, because you have to, what you realize is that you actually sow into other people, not just yourself, by spending time with them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what wisdom, and sometimes people just need an ear.
Yeah.
And they need it physically, as opposed to on the phone or on the internet. I understand that we're a new age and we're doing a lot of things different, but we still think what this has taught us more is that we still actually, that time that you think is not important for you to interact with somebody, it actually is extremely important for your mental health.
Yeah.
Not just, you know, we're humans. We're not solitary beings. We need each other. We need each other.
Yeah,
definitely. We need each other. Yeah. So, yeah, I think, you know, we have to consciously make a decision to respect, love, and give of ourselves.
Yes.
That's not always easy, because you don't know how you're going to be received. But you don't stop giving because you don't know. Everybody's not going to love you. No, I'm still learning. I'm still growing. There's so many different things out there that other people know that I even though I've been crafting for over 45 years, I'm still learning every day, and I love everything new. It's amazing to me that some of the things that I see people doing, and I think it's awesome. I think where the craft is going is amazing.
I love that color work is coming back. Lace,
different forms of Tunisian crochet. I'm waiting for people to get on the hairpin lace and broomstick lace because with knitting.
So you're gonna release a pattern with that?
Did she just get me? She just got me.
You heard it here first.
I don't. I think probably most people probably don't even know what that is.
So you need to spread the love on it.
Spread the love.
Yeah.
It is. It's not hard.
Right.
They're neither one of hairpin lace and broomstick lace. They're not hard. Little background on them, really quick.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
What they
She's dropping some knowledge on us.
What they were is because everybody couldn't knit and everybody couldn't crochet and they didn't have time, so they wanted to create lace larger, and quicker. So they made these two. They did these two separate forms of lace work. Okay. And that's what they basically are. Yeah. They're just open work that you can put on knitting or crocheting or tatting or any kind of
tatting. She went there.
I went there.
Oh.
I'm not doing that, but I know how to do it and I know what it is.
Life skills.
Yes. That's another thing that, I think everybody, once you knit, then you want to crochet. Once you crochet, then you want to spin. Then once you spin, you want to dye. Then once you dye, you want to weave. And once you and by the time you get through, that's how you wind up with 6 knitting machines and a stash so extensive that you could fill a yarn store.
Yeah. Now, have you spun yarn? We had this conversation a few months ago. Right.
I had a drop needle spindle.
Yeah.
And I tried. It didn't.
Wasn't for you.
It didn't work.
Yeah. I heard with the drop one, you either love it or hate it.
I could do it. And I actually bought one of the little mini spinners.
Like the...
I forgot. Daddy's downstairs. Oh. I guess I should pull that out. And and it's funny because I've been talking with a friend about weaving. And I go to the thrift shops a lot. And I actually found a loom, a weaving loom.
Get out.
At the thrift store. It's a manual. But most things start off that way anyway. And I paid like $19 for it. But I haven't set it up yet. No, let me take it back. I set it up. But I've not strung it to actually.
So when you do make something, I want to have you back.
Okay.
So we can do like part 2.
Okay. No problem. Because like I said, in your mind, if you knit, you want to crochet. And if you crochet, you want to do this. And I'm like that too. Yeah. We're all project OCD. Like, I got a question for you.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got a question. I know. I'm going to ask her a question. Y'all ready for this?
Uh-oh. I wasn't ready for this.
You ready?
Okay.
How many whips?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Let's see. Actually, I'm not that bad because if you recall several years ago, I used to always be like 10 or 12 whips. That did not work for my anxiety.
Okay.
I felt very out of control.
Okay.
And one year, it was like towards the holidays, I said, you know what? I'm going to finish all my whips. And I'm going to start next year with a clean slate.
Okay.
And I was going to limit myself to 3.
Okay.
I was trying to be monogamous. But, sometimes that's not always a good idea because one might be in a holding pattern.
Right.
And then you got to or you got to wind yarn or whatever. Right. So really, I'm a big advocate for 2.
Okay.
But let's see. have this one.
Mm-hmm.
I have the bright feather sweater, which I literally only have like 6 rounds on. I haven't touched that in a month, and it's killing me. I need to come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the cardigan for my husband. And I have a design that is just like put to the side. So I would call that like 3.5. But really, in my mind, the way my brain works is if it's in my queue and I have the yarn
mm-hmm.
and I've dissected the pattern and like planned modifications and thought about, the whole process,
Mm-hmm.
that is like on the fringe of becoming a whip.
Okay.
Because in my brain, it's like right there.
Right. Right. It's about to jump off the diving board.
Yeah. And I have one project like that
mm-hmm.
that I literally have said that once I finish this cardigan for my husband, which I'm hoping to finish for Christmas.
Okay.
After that, I'm going to dive into this project because it's really like wild and crazy.
Okay.
And I'm looking at it as like a therapeutic reward.
Okay. For all your work. For all your hard work.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Yeah. So.
I because I can, literally finish a sweater in a couple of hours or in a day, depending on how I'm feeling. I have quite a few. Like
when you say quite a few.
You like need a number? I don't know.
Don't you guys need a number?
I don't know.
Is it like more than 100?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's less than 20.
Oh.
It's less than 20.
Oh, then this is a judgment-free zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what'll happen is I'll have a day.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say a whip, to me, if it's not blocked, it's still a whip.
Oh, yeah.
So I might have 5 things over here that I finish but need to be sewn on the sewing machine.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to take me 5 minutes to literally finish sewing the sweater.
Yeah.
And then something like this, I steam it. I won't block it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll literally sew it, steam it, and I can wear it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I might have 5 of those. And then I'll have my charity knits. So I might have 5 sets of mittens on the needles that just need to go on a machine. So I might spend 2 hours in one day and knock out all those mittens. But everything will be piled up that needs to be sewn.
Okay.
So I'll look at, they may be physically finished, but I just need to sew them or steam them or label them or whatever it is that I need to do. So that's why I say like 20.
That's not bad.
No, because
if I had to be judgmental.
Right, but that's a lot. Most people would be like, what do you mean you got 20 whips? But they're in different stages. So I might, I don't necessarily put my stuff in a queue or say anything like that. Yeah. Because seeing this right here, I'm inspired. You just wait until this camera goes off and I finish going shopping. I can tell you what's going to happen. Next week, I'll be able to finish a sweater or something that I've started. Mm-hmm. And the next time I see you, I'll be like, oh yeah, I went home and I finished that real quick.
I can't wait.
So but that's how I see them or I work them up or like I'll have a sweater like this.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
Is this linen?
It's linen and cotton.
It is lovely.
Linen and cotton. So I'll have this and I might have 3 of these.
Okay.
That I've done 3 yokes because if I'm not downstairs or I'm traveling or doing something, then I'll say, okay, I'm going to start a yoke.
Yeah. So you'll have it ready for the machine. Right?
Yeah. So one day I might sit down at the machine and I'll finish 3 sweaters, and they won't all be for me. Yeah. I make sweaters and different things for other people. So somebody will be like, goodness, she got 3 sweaters. I make 2 sweaters a year. But no, they're not all for me. I knit for my family. Like this time of year, I'll do a lot of charity knitting, and I'll start my holiday knitting, and whatever it is that I'm going to make, usually by the end of November. I have all my holiday knitting
Okay.
taken care of. And then through November up until Christmas is usually my charity knitting.
Yeah.
And any projects like I'm doing a cow or something like that that I might have worked out, you know. But you know, and then my stuff, if I want to do something for somebody else, I'll set my stuff aside.
Yeah.
You know, I don't, you know, I'm not the most important when it comes down to knitting for myself. I'll do it for somebody else. Like
Okay.
what I try to do is any one thing that I make either for myself or somebody else, then I try to do a charity thing. So whether it's mittens or
kind
a
of spread
hat,
the love. Okay.
you know,
Have
that-
you
that's
heard
what-
of Mittens for Detroit?
That's the one that.
Oh, okay. I was
That's
gonna
what I make
ask.
the mittens for. I make mittens for them. So.
And I'm sure there's such organizations, you know, in other cities, but Mittens for Detroit is a charity that I came across several years ago. They tend to have donation boxes in the local yarn shops, and they also accept mail-in donations, and they will go out, or you know, this is like mid-October, but I would say by like mid-November they are out distributing
the schools,
yeah,
shelters,
and it's really, I mean, it's amazing. They'll accept, you know, handmade, acrylic, wool, whatever. I mean, their goal is really just to keep the needy warm.
Yeah.
And so if you're interested in charity knitting, I think it's really great to seek out organizations like that
right.
maybe can put your knitting or crochet skills to good use.
Right. And giving back the love.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, technically, do we really need to knit a sweater when we could go and buy a sweater?
When we have how many sweaters?
We don't have to talk about that.
No, we're not. I mean, if I made any more, I might have to move. It's a although, you know what? Okay, so I'm trying to an organization I just learned about is Knit the Rainbow.
Knit the Rainbow.
They're in New York, and they accept, again, like accessories, hats, gloves, all that, but also sweaters, and it's specifically, I think their main group of folks that they're trying to serve are the homeless LGBTQI community in New York. Okay. And they're looking for unused stuff because they really want to, you know, good quality,
I get you,
good condition, all that. And I had heard about them literally after I had donated a box.
For myself, I always keep in my car hats and scarves and sometimes I'll go to the dollar store and get the little gloves or whatever, and I'll keep them. So if I see somebody, you know, homeless or something like that, and I try to keep like a little water and stuff like that.
Like and a little kit.
Yeah, like a little kit or something like that, so that I can give to somebody. Because imagine if you take one stitch of every stitch that it takes for a sweater and you make something for somebody else to stay warm, because we don't know how they got where they are. Yeah, it's not our business. Nope. Our business is to make sure that the next day that they're okay, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, or whatever we can do. So if that's what you can do, then that's what you should do. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Because, I mean, we all could be in lesser situations, you know, or situations that we didn't think we'd ever fall into. No. Just like that. Yeah. You know, if we lose a job, lose health insurance, lose a loved one, lose, you know, our mental or physical health. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if nothing else has come out of 2020, it's that life is precious and short.
And we need each other.
We do.
We really need each other.
We really do.
You know, I think out of everything that's taught me, I've learned that the most, even more now.
You feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost visceral. It's like, I need to reach out. I need to talk to somebody. I need to, let me call somebody today. Oh, I haven't talked to this person. Or sometimes I'll just send a text message or like you said, you see my post. I try to post,
Mm-hmm.
you know, something to uplift somebody. Sometimes I just smile and take a picture. Okay, I know.
I love it. I love it.
I'm like, I know what you. I haven't been there. Maybe specifically what you've been through, but I know it's probably been one of them days.
Yeah.
You need one of these. Here you go. You know, and if it makes one, and I've had people say, you know what, I really needed that today. Or I'll just post, you know, something uplifting, whether it's a scripture or something that I've seen on somebody's page. I will steal your stuff off your page. If it's inspiring or funny or something, I will steal it and give it to everybody that I know so that they can smile, because we need it.
This could not have worked out more perfectly because Gwen was the lucky recipient, was the lucky winner in a yarn candle giveaway that I had a few weeks back. And so when I messaged her, I said, I have your candles for you. I can ship them like 10 minutes down the road.
Right.
Or I could drop them off. And she said, no, I'll come over. And I said, well, can we record for the podcast together? Because I think I had hinted to you that, you know, I wanted to have you on. So.
And I said, because, come on, guys.
Wait,
come
and you
on.
said,
I need to go shopping.
Here I am, just trying to give her her candles.
And that's nice, but I want to go shopping. Anybody that knows me knows shopping is what I really like to do. I'm like, look, but I want to spread the love that way too. You know, I just spread the love in your heart. You know,
I love you, Gwen. You are such an uplifting person and so creative. Yeah. Gwen, this was so much fun.
So much fun. I'm glad you invited me. I'm so glad that we got a chance to chat in your space. And hopefully the next time, Danielle.
Yes.
Just so amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And we can have a sip and stitch.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Maybe we can do a little work on your knitting machine.
Oh, yeah. You know what? You guys can come over. I would like the fireplace.
Oh.
We can drink whatever you like. And
she got me there.
I will set up the knitting machine and let you you can bring a sweater. You can knock out a sweater real quick.
Yeah. I'll knit the yoke and I'll text you and say, Gwen, it's time.
And I'll be like, come on. Coffee is hot. The tea water is on. And any other thing you need.
And I'll bring some yarn.
Oh.
It's a trade-off.
I don't know what it is about yarn. I don't know what it is about yarn, but I just love it. I love it so much. And I love you. Thank you so much for inviting me. This is amazing.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yay.
I just love you. So this was really fun to have you on as our first guest.
Yay.
So she'll be back. I promise you there will be a part 2. So stay tuned.
Bye now.
Bye.